Hi, LaJon Miller.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Artist from Long Beach, you guys. We're bringing to you figurative abstract artist. I love his paintings. Just want to ask you a couple questions. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes, who are you?
You want me to give my definition or who everybody thinks I am?
Who you feel you are?
Oh wow. I feel I'm a guy that's trying to create art. That's trying to express a message, I guess, with my artwork. I've been an artist for as long as I can remember. You know, 5 years old, doodling in front of the television, cartoons, things like that. So I've always had what a lot of people call a gift to draw or to create, vivid imagination. So, you know, over many trials and tribulations, I stuck with it, and here I am.
Okay.
And, you know,
Were you influenced by anyone in the house?
You know, no. It's so weird because I don't know of anybody that's directly related to me that is an artist. My mom, she was a very good seamstress. I mean, she could sew everything. She sewed all of my clothes growing up, all my sister's clothes growing up. So we always had unique and original outfits because she would pick out patterns and hand make all our clothing. I'm talking about pants and t-shirts.
Oh wow!
You know, and of course it was embarrassing because none of our stuff anybody could recognize. When you was a little kid, you want to fit in.
Right.
It's different because your clothes are handmade.
Yeah.
But now I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But my dad was a great, hardworking farm boy from South Carolina, and you know, he doesn't have any artistic talent.
No.
Not at all. And
maybe a teacher.
You know what I think I was more influenced by cartoons and comic book characters growing up, and superhero flicks, and you know, the old Batman shows, and, old 70s and 80s cartoons, He-Man and G.I. Joe and things like that. You know, I found out years later that one of my older sisters was a really good artist herself, and she just stopped doing it. You know, so as far as me and her, I don't know who we get it from. You know, I don't know any uncles as of yet. Any uncles and aunts. So.
Okay. So was there any artist that inspired you growing up when you looked through the books? And
so many, especially as a little boy, looking and reading comic books, you know, Stan Lee, and Todd Mcfarlane, and Jim Lee, and Alex Ross, and all these amazing comic book illustrators and artists, you know, and then of course Saturday morning cartoon illustrators. But I was exposed to fine art at a little bit of an earlier age, just by happenstance and just checking out libraries and looking what paintings look like. I used to love the field trip to the museum and to the art gallery. You know, I was like, yes, I get to see artwork and paintings. Yeah. Never knew I would turn into that kind of an artist later on, but just seeing that on the wall and being like, wow, that's such a cool painting. And we always had art hanging up in the house. Yeah. My parents were big fans of artwork. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, it was never discouraged. I was one of the lucky kids. Never was discouraged to not become an artist. Aside from just focusing more in school, you know, I used to always get, LaJon doesn't pay attention. Yeah,
he's doodling on his page.
He's so bright. He just zones out and doodles all day long. You know, he doesn't pay attention. Got a lot of that growing up, but it never to the point of it being, you can't draw anymore until you get your grades up or something like that.
Did you go to college for art?
I did. I got a degree in 3D animation, character design, and I was back in 2006, Brooks College, I believe was the college, and was happy, first person in my family to get a college degree, which was an awesome, huge success. Actually, I just celebrated 7 years ago. That day was, 7 years ago today was
really?
That day. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook gives you those, remember this kind of thing, and I was like, I remember I graduated. But it was a significant milestone because a couple of reasons. Being the first child in my family, actually the first person in my family to get that went to college and completed it, and just completing something that I started because I was very, very, very good at not finishing what I started. So to do that, knowing that it was a bunch of times I thought I was going to fail and have to drop out, but got out of there, got my degree.
Good, because you enjoyed it. You loved it.
I really did. Yeah. And I didn't give up. So.
Yeah. So what are some of your life lessons?
Oh wow. So many.
Yeah.
So many. And it's always teaching me something new.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the ripe old age of 39, I'll be 40 next month.
Okay.
A lot of it is just to accept what is,
Mm-hmm.
and to change what you have control over, but allow whatever you don't have to control over to just be.
And learn from
And
it.
learn from
Mm-hmm.
it, whether it's a mistake, a win, or a success, or
Mm-hmm.
a failure. You know, there's always a lesson in every lesson.
That's true. So how did you describe your style as an artist?
It's evolved so much. I was, I guess, classically trained at one point to learn fine art techniques and drawing and painting, oil paint, watercolor, acrylic, you know, learning perspective, learning realism,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to duplicate or replicate master paintings like Rembrandt and Da Vinci and Van Gogh and whatnot. But it has evolved into something. I think I kind of combine my love for comic books and illustration with a lot of the dark black lines and hard edges, but a little bit of an amalgamation of, I guess, fine art and expressionism, but also a little bit of, I guess, abstract, you know, with the vibrant colors that I use a lot of, and the really quick, loose, gestury brushstrokes that I throw in
Tell us
there.
about your color work. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, if you notice, there's pink pretty much everywhere.
What's up with pink?
But yeah, I know, right? Go pink.
It's beautiful.
Or got pink. Pink is this color that manifested for two reasons. One of them, when I decided to really completely dive into being a full-time artist and taking it seriously and make my living from it.
So you are full-time.
I'm full-time.
That's awesome.
No job, no part-time
That's
gig.
awesome. Y'all support him.
No, make my own hours, y'all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everyone's dream. Every artist's dream.
You know what? It is. I am a lot more stressful than I was when I had my 9-to-5 job. And I love that job.
Yeah.
Because I had benefits and
Yeah.
you know, I worked in a great place. Worked at an art store. Best place for artists to work.
Uh-huh.
But that stress was different because this stress I can manage because
Yes.
I create it.
Yes.
You know, when you work for someone else, you kind of get
Yes.
sucked into their stress.
Right.
But when you work for yourself, you create your own, you
Right.
manifest your own stress
Yeah.
or deal with it or remove it. So it's a much better, more calm
Yeah.
way of me handling it. And I've never been happier.
Yeah.
You know, I don't make as much money as I did
But you're
working
happy.
full-time, but I'm about to. But I am very happy at the
Happy.
decision I made.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I said I'm gonna go in full time. What do I want to paint?
Yeah.
Because I knew how to draw. I learned some great lessons. I had some very valuable techniques and skills. But now I said, now what do I want to draw?
Yeah.
Because I can draw whatever I can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
What could I draw? Who am I
Yeah.
talking to with my art?
Uh-huh.
And I just started to really think about the influences and the motivators and encouragers in my life. And every big, huge creative shift or change or direction I was put in, a woman was behind it. Like everyone. Going back to college and getting my art degree, a woman taught me to doing that.
Okay.
One of my first art shows, solo show, was at a hair salon. And a woman owned that hair salon. And I became my first solo show.
Okay.
And I think I sold about 80% of the pieces
Wow,
that I had there.
great.
I had a bunch. I had like 15 pieces there.
Wow.
And she ended up becoming one of my first collectors. She now owns about 6 of my paintings.
Yeah. Good.
And she was one of the first. She bought like, I'm sorry, not 6. She owns about 7 or 8 now.
Jeez.
She bought 3, and then bought 3 more, and then bought 2 at my show.
Yeah.
She just kept buying artwork.
Yeah.
You know. And my mother is a huge influence in my life. Every boy's mom, for the most part, is a big,
Yeah.
significant influence. No knock against dads or the dads that are there, but your mama is like your number one.
Yeah.
And she instilled a lot of discipline in me, a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance. So she's my number one warrior. I grew up around 4 sisters.
Okay.
I'm the only boy. 2 old
Sound like
sisters,
my
2
brother.
younger sisters, you know.
Yeah.
So there's always women around me all the time.
Yeah.
And they're amazing women, you know.
Yeah.
Some single parents, some in college now, some had jobs for 10 plus years. I mean, just I have amazing women in my life.
Yeah.
And they come in my life and I'm meeting them like every day, all the time.
Okay.
So I'm constantly being motivated and inspired. So that's why I paint women.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, I need something that's going to catch people's eyes. I need a color. I need something that's vibrant. And I remember thinking about the women in my life and why they're so strong and courageous. Well, my mom is a breast cancer survivor, and she's the strongest, most courageous woman that I know. So I said, well, we got breast cancer survivor. They got that bright pink. Let me
That's right.
toy around with that color in
That's
my palette.
right.
And so I started experimenting with pink in a lot of my artwork. And next thing you know,
There
I got
it
this
is.
vibrant pink, and it's like a mainstay staple. That's my thing. Pink is always in the hair of my muse. That's in my artwork. So.
Okay. Well, I see it, and you do have a look, a statement. When I see it, I know it's you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure. So, is there any memorable painting that you painted that you want to talk about?
You know what? Yeah, I do have one that's pretty recent, actually. It is a part of a series I did, basically just using black ink and very vibrant, concentrated, like pink acrylic ink. And I started this series probably back in May of 2017. It was called The Beauty of Bushido. And I was combining my love for Asian culture and Japanese samurai influences, and combining that with my warrior women that I already have been painting for the last few years. And so what I decided to do was to create 47 different paintings based off of the 47 Ronin story about these masterless samurais. And the women that are in all of my paintings, they are not controlled or dictated by anybody. They run their own lives, they create their own destiny. So they are essentially masterless warriors. And I decided to do 47. And I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to do 47 different paintings of the same character in a different pose 47 different times. And the next thing I know, I had 10 paintings done. And then I had 25 paintings done. And then I had 30 paintings done. And I finished up the 47th painting a couple weeks ago, and I did it as a live painting presentation at a spoken word lounge. And this was a pretty significant, I guess, change in evolution in my art, but also with that particular character, because it was the first painting where you get to see her face. So now you're seeing the result. These are after the 47th one, where you actually get to see her face. But that night, in front of about 40 or 50 people, they got to see a character I've been working on for close to a year. They got to see the evolution of the identity of who that person was.
That's cool.
And I ended up raffling that off to somebody, and somebody won that as a raffle. So they own that now. I don't own it anymore. But it was pretty big because I wanted to do this unveiling of who this woman was, even though it's not anybody that is some sort of a celebrity or anybody that's directly related to me. She's kind of a little bit of everyone or every woman combined, but you got to see her face for the first time. So I was excited because as I was painting it, I'm like, it's almost like I was like peeling back layers of this creation and then saying, this is who she is, everyone, So it was exciting.
Do you paint live?
I do paint live pretty often.
So someone is gonna they show themselves like that?
Well, not necessarily. I actually
you just look at it and you memorize it.
I kind of memorize a pose or position that I see in a photograph, or somebody I just kind of see standing, and I'm just like, wow, that's awesome. Can I take a picture of that position that you're in? Sometimes that's a little awkward nowadays, but I don't do that too often. Or just if somebody's willing to stand still for a long enough, time, I can totally paint them. Yeah. I've done so many life drawing classes that would actually be easier because I wouldn't have to imagine where different angles and shapes go in the human body. It's hard to memorize every line and which direction it goes when you're drawing the human figure, especially the female figure. And making sure it looks like a woman, not some scrunched hobbit or something. But I get references, and then sometimes I'll start with a sketch, or sometimes I just go right on in and I just let the art and creativity just
Yeah, like I saw you at the art battle, right?
Yeah.
Wow, and I know you guys
Art battle.
saw that on my Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, that was I guess if I hadn't finished the 47th Ronin, I was gonna pick that one as like this key moment of creating my art and doing something that really stuck out. You bring that up.
So tell me, how many minutes did you get?
Well,
first of all, I met LaJon on Instagram, and he wanted to be a part of our art in the gardens. So then he says, well, sure, I'll do that. And then I kept looking at his Instagram. So he had art battle on it. And I went to the art battle. I was standing in line with my daughter. And I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. He was standing right in front of me, waiting in line for them to open up the doors. And I'm like, do you know, what did I ask you? What's your name?
Yeah, and you asked who, and he said, do you know LaJon 39? And I'm like, oh, that's me.
It was so funny, and he was actually an artist that was painting, and it was so exciting for me to see him on stage painting with all the other artists, and he won. That was pretty awesome.
I mean, I'm still soaking all that in because there's
won.
like a residual effect that has happened since that night. It's art battle. It's
So, but how many minutes did you have to paint?
You get 20 minutes for the first round, and you get 30 minutes for the final round. But you have to do a painting in 20 minutes, or 30 if you win.
Yeah.
And
under stress.
Yeah, because you get no photos, no references.
Nothing.
And when I'm painting, I do have photos and references there. Sometimes I get to look
you didn't have that.
See.
And you had what? Just 3 or 4 different colors?
Well, you get a pretty good color palette. You get your about 6 colors, but you get to mix them. But you can't mix anything until they start the timer.
Right.
So you get everything set up.
Right.
And then they say go, and then you got to mix your colors that you want to use, and how light or how dark, or green or orange.
And you don't know who else is what they're painting.
No,
you're just going for it.
And the music
is awesome.
The crowd starts shifting and moving, and then they start cheering.
Yeah.
There is something very surreal, but also, I don't know, it does something when people are cheering while you're working. And I get it when athletes feel that sensation.
Right, or a rock star on stage. Yeah.
But as an artist, you don't always consider yourself a performer. But when you're at this, you're actually performing in front of these people. You're putting on a show.
Yeah.
And that could either take you out of your comfort zone into a better place, or it could put you in a position where anxiety and all that kicks in, and you're like, what the beep am I doing in here? And why are all these people looking at me?
Right.
But I just took it all in and used that as energy, and I put in my painting, and I actually practiced for this one.
Oh, you
did? I did practice. I wanted to get my timing down. I had my idea. I had my concept. And because I really wanted to win, and not just for the sake of beating the other artists there, because I don't want to be in competition, even though we're always in competition.
Right,
Everybody is. That's just how human nature is. But I wanted to win because I wanted to get a message across in my final painting. And I said, if I can win the first round, I know I can win the second round, because what I'm about to paint, ain't nobody gonna paint.
Okay.
And I did it, and I won. And I won by a pretty large margin.
And she had pink hair, honey.
Yeah, she had her pink hair. Which was
did.
Dope. And it was at a pivotal time in society right now, because we were dealing with sexual harassment and the Weinstein thing. And when I put that Hollywood sign in the background and I slapped that red X on her mouth about the silence of sexual harassment, the place
went crazy.
Yeah. And then I snapped out of whatever zone I was in. Because while I was painting, I was gone. I didn't hear anybody. I didn't feel anybody. I just was in the zone. And then they counted the timer down, and I hit the X, and the crowd blew up, and I woke back up and was like, oh, I'm back at art battle, which sounds kind of like cliched and weird. Happened after it.
All right, LaJon. So what happened after the art battle?
So I won, and crowd was, crazy and excited and clapping. And then you get to kind of say a little bit about your painting, kind of thank everybody. So I went up on stage and, of course, thank the crowd and the venue and the host. And then just kind of said a little bit about my painting, because I did a painting based off of what had been going on currently in society, Hollywood specifically at the time, was the sexual harassment. And I did a painting in regards to the silence of that, and just getting the feedback from people walking up to me at the end. I had one woman after another, either shaking my hand and giving me a hug, coming to me in tears, because the painting evoked this emotion in them, you know, or brought up that here's a guy, a man, using his art to send a message about how he feels about sexual harassment and his disgust or distaste about it. And they saw that and they just wanted to thank me for using this platform to bring awareness to it. And that's what I wanted to do. I guess I kind of turned it into somewhat of a protest, so to speak. I became an activist.
That's cool.
You know, but I just wanted to. I felt it needed to be done, and I didn't really care if I didn't win the final round. I just wanted to really make it to the second round to do that painting. But I had a strong feeling that I would win because of the message it was going to send, and it was just the right painting to do at that time. But there was so many dope artists there. I mean, like, I'm serious. And one of the guys I follow on Instagram, and I'm a huge fan of his, and the dude is he's just bad at, I mean, he kills it. And crazy popular guy, you know, followers and all that nine. But he just got this style that he does, and I love his style. And I met him a couple of years ago, but I know he doesn't remember me, and we didn't really talk that long. But I saw him that night. I actually saw him right before I talked to you in the line. And he did remember me. He's like, yeah, I remember you do the pink hair stuff. And I was like, sweet. And I'm like, oh, you're here tonight? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know he was battling until he was in the second round. And so I won the first round, and then he won the second round, which meant I had to battle him and two other artists. And I said, oh man, I don't want to battle this guy because he's good. And he lives paint a lot as well, but he's just really good. And
is it Nick?
No.
No, okay.
No, I don't want to name him.
Okay, no names, okay.
I don't put him on blast, you know.
Why not? I think it's awesome.
I should, you know what I mean? But I don't put him on blast. But
okay.
He came up to me at the end of the final round and was like, I voted for you, you know. And I told my crew to vote for you because he was like, I saw your painting. It was like, yeah, he's going to win.
That's good.
And it was awesome to hear that from somebody you admire.
Yeah.
And to also hear that, like, kind of mutual respect between artists, especially between one artist that admires another artist.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I get involved with the art battle. I don't see it as a competition. I see it as a space to be around talented and creative artists and like learn from them and get inspired, you know, and, you know, eventually collaborate or something, or just build that network and just be in that group of other talented people.
It was just cool because it wasn't like a gallery setting.
No,
where,
it was so against the norm.
People just walked around and look at it was things happening.
It was like a party.
I know.
Like a show. Like there was music going, and everybody was dancing, and you know, it's just this different energy, you know, that you don't see when you see artwork. I think a lot of times what I gather and when I talk to people that have gone to it, because I even see people now like in LA and they're like, oh, what's up, yo, you won art battle in October. And it's like weird to be like, this little teeny tiny, I guess, 15 minutes of fame still kind of flowing.
Well,
and be like,
you know, the social media floats.
And then I went to the last art battle and they're like, yo, what's up, it's LaJon with the pink hair from the last one. He won October. Yeah, like a celebrity, you know, it was awesome, you know. I felt all VIP, you know. But
what type of music do you like to listen to when you paint?
When I paint? Oh man, it's all over the place. I'm very emotional, like most artists.
Oh my god!
And I'm a Pisces, so it's like even that much more emotional.
You had all those sisters.
I've been around women my whole life, so I'm just this big 140-pound ball of emotion. I listen to so much. I can go from Metallica to Bonobo to Kanye West to Wu-Tang Clan to classical music. I can throw on some Armstrong and get the jazz flowing. It's just, it depends on the mood. You know, and that's cliche, we say that a lot. But no, it seriously depends on the mood. The more eclectic, the better. But sometimes the music will drive me or I guess driving. It'll influence and I'll let that happen.
So you start one way and you end up
and then
somewhere else.
it just take the painting some totally different direction.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the tempo will just throw me into something
Yeah.
really, really abstract and wild. And I look at it and be like, oh, music did that painting.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause when I started it, I kind of had an idea, but then music took control, and I was like, see ya.
Yeah.
You know, and I just go ahead. Was it music take the wheel? You know.
What kind of paints do you use? I mean, is it acrylic or?
Yeah, mostly acrylic. I do a lot of pen and ink, and I do a lot of acrylic just because it allows me to work really fast. And with my style and that expressionism and that abstract kind of feel to it, you know, for me, it feels better creative-wise to work faster than it does to work slower.
So how long does it take you to do a painting?
It varies because I probably have ADD, so I gotta work on multiple things at the same
familiar.
time. So I literally matter of fact,
he said probably.
These three, like these two and that one, I was working on them kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna use the word simultaneously because that just means that you literally were doing something at the same time.
Yeah.
But I was working on one, and then it was drying, and then I started the next one, and then it was drying. So I'm thinking about the concepts of 3 different paintings pretty much all at the same time. Like,
Right.
what am I gonna do in this next one? And having it look differently. And that's the gift you get when you have ADD. You know, you have like 18,
and just say creativity.
Creativity. What did they say? Somebody sent me a meme that said artists are like you have 2,676 files open.
Wow.
Like that's like an artist's brain. Like,
wow.
It's like having that many tabs open because I got so many different things. Oh, what am I going to create with this? Oh, what color am I going to use with this? And then I'm thinking about another painting, and then the next painting, and then a different painting, and then an idea for a painting, or trying out and experimenting with colors. Because that's how I came across a lot of these color concepts and themes is a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of
But your
experimenting.
painting have rhythm. You know, I know you do paint with music because
Yeah.
I see it flow and I see the little dots and you probably...
There is a flow, there is a chaotic method to my madness. Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the medium and the way I use the medium, meaning the acrylic. I like acrylic that's really, really fluid or runny. You know, it's different acrylic brands will have a thickness or a certain consistency. I like mine to be almost as fluid as ink because that's what I like. It feels like I'm in water.
Water, yeah.
You know, maybe it's the Pisces.
Do you like watercolor?
I do. I love it. It's actually my favorite medium.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite one. A lot of people are like, that's crazy because watercolor is like the hardest medium.
Yeah, they don't like it, yeah.
I like it because it's so uncontrollable. And I don't want to control the water or the paint, so I just let it do what it does, and then I kind of work around it.
Do you sketch it first and then you go in, or you're sketching while you're painting, or you're painting?
A little bit of both.
Sometimes
I'll sketch first. Sometimes I'll just get like some sort of a basic idea down, and then just start filling it in as I go. Sometimes it'll be a really, really detailed sketch because I need certain things to be in the right spot. And then sometimes it's blank, and I'm like, let's turn this blank thing into something colorful and go from there. And you know, it's different for each mood, each event, each painting. I let the muse dictate me, so whatever direction she points me in, that's how it turns out.
So if someone were to walk up to you and ask you, will you paint me? Do you do that, or?
I get that so often.
Yeah.
And my usual response is, how long can you sit still? Because everyone's, can you paint me? You know, sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes, I don't know, it's a come on or a line.
Are you really, you can paint someone?
Yeah, I can definitely paint portraits. Live portraits are a little trickier because the person still has to sit still. If they're willing to sit still, then yeah, but sometimes that's session work if you're really trying to capture the exact likeness of that person. So most times I'll just work from a photograph because then I can work under my own comfort zone and not have to worry about setting up a space and all that to have somebody sit still for so many hours on it. But
someone asked me to paint them and I'm like, won't be like you, it'll be an abstract of
so
you.
here's the thing about when you do that, and this is just my opinion as an artist when you're painting someone's portrait, because I've had that happen many times. I've gotten commissions for portraits and they give me this photograph, and a lot of times it's a photograph that's 10 plus years old. Nobody looks the same that they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. You look pretty close, but you look identically the same. And then you paint that photo and they're like, this doesn't look like me. Of course it doesn't, because neither does this photo. And sometimes the way you look at somebody and see someone, it's not the same way that they see themselves. So you have that too. They're like, oh, my lips really don't look like that. And you're like, to me, they do. But, you know, that's who I see in front of me versus who you see in the mirror. You know, and it could be for a lot of things. Who knows? They may see themselves different just because it could be something else, a self-esteem or insecurity thing. I don't know. So, but yeah, I do the occasional commission on the portrait.
So if there was an artist that you can paint with, like in the art battle, who would you paint with? That's
alive or dead?
Alive or dead. Yes, no, really.
Oh man. You know what? Can I pick two?
Who? Oh yeah,
Can I pick
two.
I would love to paint with Van Gogh. He was always one of my favorite artists. I came across some of his paintings that had so much color in them that they don't showcase that often. And it could have been prior to his extremely depressive state. But he used to use a lot of color. But I liked how he would just, he would squeeze the paint onto the canvas and then manipulate it.
Yeah.
And that part always fascinated me because you're not starting with a sketch. You're literally starting with paint. And then pulling the art out of the paint instead of throwing the paint onto the canvas. So I would love to art battle with him. Or even just sit next to him.
Yeah. So you could talk to him, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
How'd you do that?
Exactly, like, wait, how did you, and why does that person look like that?
Right.
And then I think the second person, it would be John Singer Sargent. He's a watercolor artist, and his style and technique captures so much with so little. Meaning he creates these intense and detailed paintings with very little color and detail, but you still see everything, you know. And he just knew where to put color and blend and wash out with water and all of that. And he didn't control the water at all, but you can tell he had complete control over the painting, which sounds weird to be like, he gave up control with the water, but he had control of the entire painting. And you see that in his work. And I would love to art battle with that guy, you know.
Yeah. So, let's see. What other questions do I have? How did, or when did you know you found your voice? Because you have a style. When did you find that voice?
I think it may have been at some of my earlier shows at the hair salon. But a lot of that artwork was totally different from this, because I had everything from koi fish paintings to paintings with black women's different hairstyles and things like that. But I knew that I wanted to paint women because of the response I was getting from people painting the women. And then when it really hit home was a First Friday event where I had some stuff set up in Long Beach and I was painting, and a young girl walked up and said, "Why do you paint so many women?" And I felt like she was interviewing me to see whether or not I was like some creepy dude that just paints naked women or whatever, which she wasn't. But initially I was like, okay, I'm getting tested to see if I'm not some dude that just likes naked ladies. But when I told her my story, why I paint women, and the admiration and the you know, I'm like you guys' biggest cheerleader. You know, I'm a big advocate for gender equality and women empowerment. And I was telling her I want to put that into my artwork. I want to paint women that are awesome and amazing because that's how I see women. So I paint them how I see them. And I want to showcase that as a man, I want to use my voice to kind of express the unequalness between men and women, especially in this country, let alone the planet, but especially in this country we live in. And she started crying. And she said, "Thank you so much." And I felt like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, did I bring back some memory of her and some issue, you know? And she said, no, it was just your passion for women and art is so inspiring to me. And I was like, oh, are you an artist? She says, no. But I just, when I hear that coming from your voice, it brought up so much emotion because I have never heard a man speak the way you speak. And she was, you know, she was young. She was in her probably her maybe mid-20s or so. But to hear that come from her and be like, wow, she's never heard a man speak the way I speak. That was heartbreaking to me. Because my dad was great. He taught me how to respect women, and I was able to be around a lot of men that knew how to respect women. And being a brother of 4 sisters, you kind of, it's inevitable. You're going to learn how to deal with and respect women. But I felt that that was that moment that I said, I need to keep doing this. And this is what I'm going to paint.
Okay.
You know, I paint a bunch of other stuff, but this is what I am going to paint.
So what would you tell the younger you today?
Oh, man.
Gotcha.
I always wanted that question. It's funny. I was like, I always wanted that question, but I never made up an answer for it. I think I would say, you know what? Let them laugh. Let them try to discourage you. Let them not believe in you. And that's okay. But ignore it anyway, because you're going to get past that, and they're going to get it. And if they don't get it, it sucks for them.
Yeah.
But to enjoy being who you are, like really embrace and love yourself and who you are, and everyone else that needs to fall in place or needs to be there, they're going to be there and they're going to fall in place. But that's, I think, what I would tell myself. You know, I remember just growing up being like, I want everybody to like me.
Yeah.
And now I was like, I
don't care. You don't care. Yeah. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm gonna be around the world. I want my stuff in galleries internationally. I'm almost there, yo. But I want to be able to, because I like live painting so much, the energy and the environments that it has put me in. I want to be doing that like kind of international. I want to be everywhere. You know, I want to be at women's conferences. I want to be at breast cancer conferences. I want to be at women empowerment conferences. I mean, if I could get up early enough this Saturday and march downtown and be in the March with the Women and set up and live paint right there, I totally would.
Well, get up.
Ooh, man, they gonna be there.
What is it?
They're doing the women's march this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And I was like, oh, I should take my son. But there's no way I can get him up before 8 o'clock on a Saturday. He's 5, but he sleeps in.
He might want to go though.
He would love to, but by the time we get up, they'll be done marching and hanging out. But I would love to be at a huge event like that and using my voice and my artwork to say, hey, I'm an ally with you guys. You know, because that's what I want to do. I want to use I love painting and I love creating artwork, but to me it's a tool and it's still a vessel for me to get a message out. Am I going to be painting pink-haired women for the rest of my life? If we abolish gender inequality and breast cancer, I'll stop today. But until then, you'll still see pink. Yeah. You're still going to see the pink.
So I'm going to give you a couple words, and if you could just love.
Ooh, a couple words about love?
Well, just tell me a couple words about love.
What is love? So much. Such a broad word. Forgiveness, self-forgiveness, self-congratulations, you know, self-love, patience. It's a lot of patience. And you gotta have patience with yourself. You know, I keep bringing up the self thing, but that's because you are your own worst enemy and you're also your biggest cheerleader. So you control yourself, you succeed that much faster, you know, and get out of your own way.
Romance.
Ooh, personal.
Did I take you there?
Yeah, I'm single.
You're single.
I'm a big fan of romance. I really am. I'm the flowers guy. Now I'm on a dating show.
Yeah.
I'm the flowers dude. I'm the trying to pretend to write poetry dude. But mostly, I paint a picture of you. If I paint a picture of you, I like you.
And she's gonna fall in love.
Instead of throwing rocks and everything at you, I'll paint like a picture. Or I draw a picture of you or something. You'll get a picture from me about you. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. it seems old and worn out just because we do everything so fast and everything so instant, especially with dating apps and everything, that nobody really has time for that. And then it comes off as corny nowadays. It's like, just
women like corniness.
So yeah, they do, you know. But some are just kind of like, nah, that's square. So can we get back to what you're trying to do and how much you make? No, I was kidding.
Oh yeah, that's those you run from.
Everybody wants money, so that's not a gender specific interest to want somebody that has money.
So fear.
I guess it would be disappointing those that are close to me, like my son, or my parents. I think for the most part, I'm pretty good with both with those groups. It isn't anything like death or anything like that, because that's inevitable. But I think it is probably not giving it 100% and realizing I didn't when I knew I could have. That'd probably be my fear. And then kind of like being like, man, if you would have just one more step, or just legged it out a little longer, you might have got to that promised land. So that would probably be like, that's a fear.
Ocean.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. That's my serenity. That's my my peace. That's my therapy. I have me days. And because I live in California, my me day is like, I'll go to the beach and I'll chill out. You know, I'll go to Dog Beach. There's a lot less humans, more dogs. It's quiet, it's peaceful. That's like my zen. And I'll do that and hang out, and then I'll be like, okay, now let's go paint and go interact with people.
Yeah. Can we just describe this painting here?
This one? Yeah, so this one was a painting that I did for a Mother's Day art show last year. I got in contact with a group, or not a group, I'm sorry, a young lady that worked for a maternity clinic in Long Beach, and she was looking for some artwork to hang up on the walls. They just did some painting and redid some modeling and whatnot. And I had a watercolor painting that she had seen, and she wanted to hang that one, and I said, oh, well, let me do some more. And so I was coming up with, okay, well, what do I want to paint? And I saw this amazing photograph of a young lady, you know, just, you know, nude with, you know, the big beer belly. I'm just kidding. The baby inside the bun in the oven. And I was like, well, she's got to have pink hair. She had a little bit of curly hair, but not that much like this. But as I was painting it, I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? I got the color and I got all these nice vibrant colors, but there's still something missing. And I threw on the sheer shawl, but then I said, you know what? She's going through this metamorphic stage right now where there's this being inside of her that is changing and growing and getting ready to become something. I need to throw in some butterflies. And this one is transmorphic. Transmorphic. I gotta remember what I call this one. I totally forgot. Metamorphosis. Yeah. So basically, it's the it represents change and the beauty of change and what comes out of change. So that's why I kind of threw in the butterflies, and I got a little tiny one kind of sitting on her belly, you know, doing whatever, talking to the baby. But yeah, this one is really about transformation and change and metamorphosis.
Tell me about the next one, the girl with the...
Up here? Oh, so this is feeling yourself. Feeling yourself. Yeah, I saw a really cool, again, you know, I saw this awesome photograph of a young lady, and she was kind of like embracing her face, and I was like, ooh, I want to put pink hair on this particular one, but I want to keep it really short and cropped. You know, and so while I was painting her, I was like, okay, I want to keep her semi-nude, but not completely nude, but she's in love with herself, and that's why she's feeling herself. This one's a lot about self-love, because she's just like, I got it going on, and she knows that she's got it going on, and she's got this look of like, I know I got it going on, and I know you know I got it going on, and she's feeling herself. Like when you tell somebody, oh, you feeling yourself? Like, yeah, you know, she got it, she's doing it.
Okay, what about this Impossible?
This one, yeah, this one was a lot of fun, because this was actually a live painting I did for a kind of a little art collective group in Long Beach last year. And I was painting her. I was like, I gotta put somebody with Afro puffs, and I was like, I'm gonna throw a crown on her and kind of give it a little bit of a street art type style to it. And as I'm painting it, and I'm putting on a t-shirt, and I'm doing the hair, and I'm getting ready to do the gold, this girl walks by with a black t-shirt that says Unpossible. And I was like, stop right there. And she goes, okay, what's up? And I was like, I gotta see that t-shirt. She goes, oh yeah, I just got this online, and it's got the little red apostrophe, and it says I'm possible. And I was like, oh, you gotta stand there for a second. Let me, because I don't want to misspell impossible. Right. But I should. I'm a college graduate. I should have spelled impossible. But I did that right there on the spot, and it was really cool. And I was like, yeah, she knows she's got it going on too, because she knows she's possible to do whatever she wants to do as a woman. Right. And again, still keeping with that that warrior woman, that empowered woman that I really like to promote and kind of showcase and really talk about in my artwork. And this one right here, I call this one Courage in Fire. So when I was painting this one, I kind of had the idea for her, but I was like, I want to give it this bright, vibrant orange background. So I was messing with texture and layering, and it started to look like fire. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started painting it, and then I threw in some keywords, life, because without women, we just wouldn't have life. That's just, I'm sorry, that's biologically, without you guys, we gone. It's a wrap for the human race. And then, of course, you guys are queens, and then power, because power is something that we all have. Men just don't want to give it to women. So I put that word on there because she knows she's empowered, and just to give it some text and some dialogue to kind of, I don't know, get the mind going. I was just getting really, really abstract with this particular painting, and yeah, I just decided to name it Courage and Fire because she's in the fire, but she's not fazed by it. So that's her courage. Like, and the fire represents all that you guys have to deal with and go through. That's trial by fire. Sexual misconduct, harassment, all of that stuff. And you guys still keep going and still have that courage to keep and maintain and keep going. And this is just a part of my Bushido series. I don't name them because I have so many of them now. I'm at like 52. Wow. Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. I love painting them. It's a lot of fun. I'm very impressed with the Chinese culture of sumi ink painting and a lot of ink drawings from Japanese and Oriental cultures. So I kind of like. So why? I've just always been a fan. I love the way they create art with just one color, black, and they create these fluid and very like gentle but very storytelling pieces of art on like washi paper or rice paper. And I grew up watching Kung Fu flicks, and I'm a big fan of the Wu-Tang Clan, the movies too. And anime and manga play a huge role in my influences with art as well. So I kind of threw all of that into this, so it's a little bit of two cultures kind of combining. I probably, one of these days, I'm going to actually get sumi ink painting classes. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to be in Asia, y'all. A master's going to teach me how to actually use a bamboo brush and be like, all right, LaJon, your stuff is all right, but let me teach you this. And now your stuff's going to be fire. And it's going to be probably some like 80 or 100-year-old guy that's like showing me the real techniques. That would be cool. That's on my bucket list, to really learn from a master bamboo ink artist. But yeah, I kind of combined it together, but I love painting with it because it feels like I'm just flowing artwork onto the canvas with that really fluid ink, and it's real simplified. It's just pink and black, and I just kind of wash out the black to create the different shades and tones, and then I leave it like that, and I just throw in some ink splatter, so it kind of feels like an ink painting on a canvas painting. And they are super popular. Yeah. I'm gonna toot my horn. I was in downtown LA the other night for their Thursday art walk, and I sold like 6 paintings. Wow. And 4 of them were one of those. So the beauty of Bushido is, that's why I call that beauty of Bushido, Bob for short, is something that has brought me a lot of feedback. I get comments on it all the time. They love the style. They love the muse that's in it. They love the poses that she's in. Two of my earlier Bushido paintings were used as a book cover for a book about divorce written by a woman that's a life coach, and she wrote a book about the 3 stages of divorce, and she bought one of my paintings and ended up using it as her book cover for her book.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To get a piece of art on a book.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, as a book cover. But yeah, and so just from there, I'm like, so this is like kind of like a spin-off from my pink haired muse. This is like, you know, episode 3 now. But yeah, and I have so much fun painting them. And I'm going to do more. I'm not going to stop with Bushido. I didn't stop at 47 like I told everyone. And I'm going to paint bigger.
What was the reason for 47?
The 47 Ronin. It's a story about 47 samurai who were, their master was assassinated.
Oh.
And so they wanted to get revenge, but when you are a samurai and your master is killed, you have no job to do. Because the person that you work for is dead.
Is dead.
So you become Ronin. You become masterless.
Okay.
And so they banded back together to get revenge on the guy that killed their master. And then at the end of the story, they have to perform, give me a moment, my Japanese is seppuku. Yeah, seppuku, which is basically disemboweling yourself because their job is done.
Look,
well, once they have no master, they have no job.
Yeah.
So that they're very loyal to code and conduct of the Bushido, and the code of the samurai is you do your job until it's done. But if you have no job to do, then you're done.
You're done. Wow.
So I wanted to do 47, but they weren't going to kill themselves. And one of my friends is working on a draft of a graphic novel story. He wants to do 47 female Ronins.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just go around and they have regular jobs, but they also do their samurai thing on the side and band back together, and they got to take out another rival clan and yada yada yada. So got a lot of things in the work. And that's what this character has brought about. I got a t-shirt line coming out this year
very
too.
Cool.
Yeah, you're gonna see my Bushido character on t-shirts, actually on t-shirts, hoodies, switches, like it's all kind of stuff I'm about to put this on. So
you said the summer?
Sometime earlier this year.
Okay.
We're trying to launch we're trying to launch in February, sometime in February, my birthday month.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be big. It's opened up a lot of doors and avenues. This art thing that I jumped in. I couldn't afford
that you love.
I decided to just
so I was reading something, and you have to tell me what it said. This year, your goal was to do everything that you want to do. It was, can't remember what it was. You're not gonna say no. You're gonna.
Yeah. Well, I made a promise to myself about 2 years ago to not pass up on a creative opportunity.
That's what it was.
As long as I can physically do it, to not pass it up, whether or not I think I can do it or I'm skilled enough to do it, was to not pass up whenever the opportunity was presented. And so far I've said yes, lots and lots and lots of yeses. And yeah, it's been exhausting to always say yes and to never say no. And there's been tons of failures in between. But so many opportunities, so many networks built, so many new connections and friends have come about from that. And that's my goal, is to not pass up on the opportunity, because I know that as long as I'm able to just capitalize on that, I can continue to be successful as an artist, as a creator, as a dad, all of that. And I think that we don't always see the opportunities because we think there's supposed to be something really, really big or something that smacks us upside the head. I think a lot of times most opportunities are very subtle. So that's what I tell a lot of young people that ask me, hey, how do you do what you do? Or can you give me some insight, or tell me what you did to get you where you are? I don't recommend doing what I did because it was tough and it was hard and it was financially stressful. Meaning just quit your job and just say, I'm about to do this full time, you know, with the 5-year-old kid. But making the decision to do your art full time, yes. You know, if this is something that you want to do and you have a passion for it,
do it,
and you're good at it, whether everyone else doesn't think so, but you know you're good at it, is to jump into it, is to really consider and take that risk and take that leap of faith. But you got to do that at your time. You know, I waited, you know, I'll be 40 next month, and I haven't been doing professional art painting and getting paid for this for the last 7 years. I just did this literally, it's been probably less than a year ago, a little bit under a year, full time, a little bit under a year. And it's been opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I'm not broke, I'm not on the streets, I'm not poor, I can't buy a brand new car, but I'm still surviving and I'm making it work. And that's because I continue to look for opportunities, you know, and I get them. And the goal is to, you know, one of the goals is to finally not have to look, and everybody just comes to you, and then you get to tell people, nope, nope, nope,
Yep.
But until then,
it's being consistent.
Put yourself out there, stay consistent, and just keep going. You know, you're gonna make it because once you believe in yourself to a certain point, the universe has no choice but to reward that.
That's right.
You know, if you doubt yourself, that's where instances and issues start popping up because of the doubt. You know, and I'm not going to go all this secret on anybody, but it is true about you just have to really have that drive, and things happen. Because there's just too many successful people that keep saying the same thing about, I just kept going, I kept the drive going, and they're all successful. You know, that seems to be that one ingredient.
So how can they get in touch with you, LaJon?
Okay, Instagram, if you got Instagram, it's LaJon39, LaJon, the number 3, the number 9. I got a website that I'm redoing, so if you go right now, it'll be under construction, but the website address is www.LajizzyArt.com. That's LajizzyArt.com. And I got the Twitter, which is LaJon Does Art, but I'm like rarely on that. I don't tweet as much as art.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me too.
It is. It so is.
But if you guys see his artwork anywhere, I mean, I'm sure you'll recognize it. And
for the got pink hair hashtag, or
got pink hashtag,
pink haired muse hashtag. You know?
Well, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure, and we're going to Atlanta March 25th, and I hope to see you there on stage painting.
I'm about to be painting in Hot Atlanta, y'all.
That's right, on stage painting.
On stage, live painting in Hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta. Anything else you want to say to us?
No, thank you so much for another opportunity that I'm glad I decided to jump on and not pass on, and looking forward to doing a lot of things creatively in the future.
Well, we love you and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, just a quick announcement. As you're starting to watch these artists paint, please remember to move in a clockwise fashion around the artist so we can see what everyone's bringing to the table tonight. Everyone in a clockwise fashion around the artist. I know some of you came here to support a single person, but if you're posted up right behind them the entire time and the only one that can see them, they're losing votes. Alright, so keep it moving even if you're supporting somebody. Clockwise fashion. Yes, oh my god, you guys are so good at knowing what a clock does. Oh my god, you guys are killing it. Feel free to live stream this, put it on your Instagram stories, put it on your Snapchat. Remember to follow Art Battle on Instagram, Exchange LA, and Fredericks Campus, who is the sponsor of tonight's event. Get that shit that sound. And that is how we are battle, ladies and gentlemen. Round one, give it up for all of the artists. Give it up for all of the artists, ladies and gentlemen. Put your fucking hands together for all of the artists in round one at Art Battle Los Angeles. That is what it's about. All right, now it is your time, ladies and gentlemen. And that is how we are battle, ladies and gentlemen. Round one, give it up for all of the artists. Give it up for all of the artists, ladies and gentlemen. Put your fucking hands together for all of the artists in round one at Art Battle Los Angeles. That is what it's about. All right, now it is your time, ladies and gentlemen. I brought this.